It is time, once again, to lock your doors, shut your windows, strap yourself into your favorite comfy chair, and tune out and tune into The Naked Zombie.
G'day good people and zombie listeners, Brad Scott again, of course, here with another episode of The Naked Zombie. Tonight I am very pleased to have a wonderful author on the show. His name is D.A. Roberts, or would like to be known as Doug. He's going to be talking about his fantastic book and his thoughts on Ragnarok Rising. I'm so sorry, Doug. You'll have to excuse my pronunciation, mate. It's the Australian in me. I do apologise. Good day and welcome to the show, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
how are you today?
Oh, mate, look, I'm doing good, and I have to let the listeners know that I actually woke you up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do this interview, and I was very bad. I got you out of bed extra early, and I do apologise. It happens
all right.
regularly.
At least this way the kids are still asleep, so it's quiet in the house.
It's quiet in the house. Good. I wish my house was quiet. Good. I've got teenagers running around everywhere. Now, look, Doug, this book, now you contacted me regarding this Ragnarok. Oh, God. What's the correct name? Ragnarok Rising. You have to excuse me on that, mate. Rising, the saga. Now, is this your first book?
Yes, sir, it is.
And you actually find this book on Amazon, can't you?
Yes, sir. It's on Amazon, Smashwords, and BarnesandNoble.com.
Well, that's excellent. I mean, it's great to have a book published, and it's doing pretty well by all accounts, isn't it?
Seems to be. I'm pretty happy with the results. Of course, it's not quite on the bestseller list, but we're working on it.
Oh, mate, look, after tonight's show, we're going to push the Naked Zombie out the army to actually look at this book, because I reckon it's going to be an smack bang ringer good one, if you know what I mean. Because I've basically got the gist of the book. It's basically about a small department of police officers, isn't it, who are trying to secure the place they're in, trying to help as many people. It's not your traditional, the survivors are going into the running around just trying to survive, yada yada yada, and get chewed on and all the rest of it. It's actually more to do with like a group of police officers who go in and trying to help as many people as they can while still fighting the zombie apocalypse as it was.
Absolutely. It's a group of people, and even a couple members of the military that wind up working together to try to save people. And one of the things that I think is a little distinctive is they discover fairly early on that not everybody is interested in helping. Some of the other survivors they find are just as dangerous as the zombies, which I think is human nature.
You'd expect in that
situation
environment
like that. Yeah, any natural disaster you have either brings out the best or the absolute worst in people.
So you'd have a very good understanding of this, because not only from being an author of this book, but you've had a very diverse career. You've been a soldier, you've been a security officer, you've been a bouncer, even a lab technician, but now you're a corrections officer. So as far as in understanding and seeing the best and the worst in people, you're actually in a situation where you deal with it on a daily basis in real life.
Absolutely. I work in a correctional facility. We house about 600 people, and any given day, I do see the best and the worst in people.
I mean, that must be a very good sort of opening for like the book itself. Now, with the book, can you give us a bit of a quick rundown, or because I don't want to give too much away, to be honest with you, because I want actually people go out, jump on the website, jump on to Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Was that correct? Yeah, I want the people to actually go and have a look at this and actually grab this book, because from what I've read of the bits and pieces through it, it's amazing. Now, the detail, and I've only read a little bit of it. I'm sorry to say I haven't read all the way through it, but it's actually a lot of thought went into this process, didn't it?
Yes, sir. Well, it really started out one night. A group of us officers are sitting around having coffee, and we got to talking about zombie movies, and somebody said, what would we do if it happened here? And I looked at him and I said, are you serious? You really want to, you really mean if zombies were real? He goes, yeah, let's just assume they're real for a minute. How would we react? So we started bouncing ideas around, and we realized that even if you use zombies as a metaphor, we weren't all that prepared for some of the major catastrophes that could happen. And it really got me to thinking about my hometown in an entirely new way. I mean, I was looking at buildings going, could we hold that? You know, how could we modify this car? You know, that kind of thing. And it really grew into a story almost overnight.
And so the story based from you and your mates from work, sitting around working on how would we deal with this. Now, not to give too much away in the book, because we're actually going to get onto zombies in a minute. When you sat down and you worked all this out, and you think, okay, now are we talking about the slow moving zombies? Are we talking about the fast running? You know, but are we going back to the old black and white zombies where they just sort of hobble along and groan? Are we talking like really fast, freaky ass zombies? So what's your, if you know what I mean, whereabouts did you go with that side of the zombie?
Well, I looked at it kind of, I like to think logically. I thought if a person had turned recently and their legs are still intact, there's no reason they couldn't run. But if they had damage to the legs at all, they'd be slow. So I broke zombies down into 5 categories. Your basic crawler, which is one that can't walk. Ones I refer to as shamblers, and those are ones from the old classic movies that are just, dragging a foot and can't move very fast.
Yep.
Sprinters, which are uber fast and don't get tired. Grabbers, which are ones that are ultimately pinned somewhere, maybe between a car or, turned while still seat belted in a car. And screamers. And screamers are ones I introduced just to ratchet up the tension.
Yep.
Screamers are ones that'll shriek and let everyone else know that they're there.
Oh, and also
when they see you, they kind of rat you out.
Oh, so basically when they see you, they're actually going, hey, look, there's fresh meat over there, let's go over that way type thing. So you're really screwed either way you're going. You've got this vast number of different, the genres of the zombies in the book, which is great because you just don't, because I find when a lot of the books that I've read, and of course I love reading about zombies, as you can tell the name of the radio show, but it's that whole thing of each book that I've read has the zombie only does one thing. It has that genre of just being either slow paced, lethargic, doesn't matter if it's fresh or not, as it were. Then you go to the other extreme where they actually just freaks of nature that can climb walls and, if you know what I mean, can sort of go through everything. So
I didn't go to that extreme because I didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that's the thing. You've sort of covered the zombie presence, and because when you write a book about a zombie, it's got to have that fear factor of, and people are going to get picked off, and
exactly.
and this is the thing. So not all zombie books are the same, and I love the fact that people view them in different sort of ways. Any good author would know that for a fact, that when you go and do your main characters and stuff like that, you know which ones are going to be picked off, you know which ones are going to survive. But because you've done it as in a police style, well, they're trying to help people, so not only do they have to worry about looking after themselves, they've got to worry about actually rescuing as many people as possible. So this way it brings the book to a whole new kettle of fish. It's always been about the survivors, hasn't it?
Yes. All of them I've ever seen is always, there might be a character who is a police officer, but it's always a group of people that are just trying to do what they can to survive. You rarely see them making any effort to help anyone else. And this is really kind of an everyman kind of story, where these are just down to earth people. Nobody's a superhuman like on Resident Evil, where they're jumping around kicking people in the head, and these are just normal people doing the best they can in an impossible situation.
So what we're going to do something a bit different on The Naked Zombie. We're actually going to get you to read a sample of your book. Are you fine to do that, mate? Just to give them some sort of idea what the book is about, and you see why I'm so excited about this actual novel itself. Do you think you can do that for us, Doug?
Absolutely. How much would you like me to read?
Mate, you read as look, give us a good couple of pages. I mean, because, see, a lot of radio shows won't do this. They won't actually take the time to... You want to give the audience... I'd say I could do it fine, but I wouldn't give it the justice as the author would do it, if you know what I mean, because you have the passion behind the book, you've sat down and read it. And I think it'd be very interesting for listeners actually to have a listen for the first couple of pages, and so they can just get an understanding of what the book is about. Are you happy to go through that, Doug?
Okay. I can just pick a scene out of the book.
Please
and,
do,
read
mate.
a little bit of it.
Yep, you go right ahead.
This scene is from the beginning. It's the first encounter they have, the first time they actually see the zombies, and it really sinks in that this is what they are. Up until that point, they really just thought they were rioters. It's a group of them, a small group that has set up a roadblock to try to keep people from coming into town. And it's a group of 3 people from the sheriff's office and 2 National Guardsmen that have sealed off this road. Mm-hmm. So I can start that whenever you're ready.
Yeah, please go for it right now, mate. That's good.
Okay. As they closed to within 100 yards, we began to clearly see the bloody wounds that were evident on most of them. They were not the slow-moving, plodding zombies that I saw in old movies. They were fast, terrifying, and quickly eating up the ground between us. I felt like someone had just poured ice water down my spine. "Mary, Mother of God," whispered Shue, crossing himself. "Attention rioters," shouted Henderson. "By the order of Nathaniel County Sheriff, you're hereby ordered to cease all violent activity and disperse immediately." "Wow," said E2, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "I bet no one ever thought of ordering them to cease and desist before. What a dumbass." I counted over 40 of them, and they were closing fast. My heart felt like it was about to beat its way out of my chest. Shue and I exchanged a quick glance. I could tell he felt the same way I did. Henderson climbed onto the hood of the Charger and started to raise the bullhorn to his mouth again. Spec 4 threw me a look that seemed to say, "Want me to drill him for you?" I had to think about it a second, but I gave her the "we might need him" look and a slight shake of the head. Henderson kept screaming orders at the advancing zombies as they closed within 50 yards. Somehow, the zombies paid even less attention to him than we did. "You two," I shouted, indicating the 2 guardsmen. "Start picking your targets. Keep it on semi-auto and conserve your ammo. Fire when ready." Henderson whined at us. "Do not fire until I give the order. Don't listen to him. I'm in charge here." Thankfully, everyone ignored him and took their cues from me. If we'd followed Henderson's orders, we'd have all died. Spec 4 and E2 began squeezing off shots. Their first few shots hit center mass just like they were trained. I found myself falling back on my Army days, calling out orders in my loudest command voice. It was the same voice I used in my pod when I wanted the inmates to do what I said. No one put me in charge. I just knew that someone needed to be. Well, someone other than Ricky Henderson, that is. "Hit the heads," I bellowed. "Shoot the damned heads." The next few shots dropped the target, and this time they stayed down. "Shue, don't shoot till you're sure of that target. The Glock doesn't have the range of their M16s. Shue just nodded as I placed my shotgun on the hood of the Charger and laid my extra magazines for my Glock next to it. Then I took up a Weaver stance with my pistol, legs shoulder-width apart, left foot slightly forward. My left hand was cupping the bottom of my right hand on the pistol. I noticed that Shue was using a different method for his pistol. He held the pistol firmly in his right hand and braced his wrist with his left. I didn't have time to give him shooting pointers, but his way gave him less control of the weapon. As the zombie closed within 20 yards, their numbers had been reduced to about 30. Henderson finally got the point they weren't going to follow his orders and drew his sidearm. He started shooting as soon as his weapon cleared the holster. He was in a near-complete state of panic and pumped an entire magazine into the chest of the nearest zombie. It had no effect other than to make it stumble but not fall. Shue and I opened fire, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why I did it, but I shot the zombie that was about to grab Henderson. I let fly out of instinct and hit the bloody postman with the Mogadishu drill. My shots hit it twice in the chest and once in the middle of the forehead, and it dropped like a stone. Shue was being calm, selecting his target and conserving his ammo. That was good. Shue looked a hell of a lot calmer than I felt. "Henderson, aim for the head, you dumbass!" Henderson was still in full-blown panic mode as he tried to change the magazines with fingers that appeared numb. He dropped the empty magazine and fumbled for another one from his belt. He was completely oblivious to the zombies that were nearly on top of him. The rest of us were making steady progress, but our accuracy was down to about 1 kill for every 4 or 5 shots. It's one thing to put 15 rounds from a Glock into the 10 ring on a paper target. It's quite another thing entirely when the adrenaline is pumping and you're facing targets that will eat you if they get close enough. To say we were scared was the understatement of the century. That's right about the time that Henderson decided to try and run for it. He dropped his pistol, jumped off the hood, and ran. He didn't make it very far. "Get back here, you idiot!" I yelled as my slide locked back on the pistol. I had to take my attention off of him to reload. While I changed magazines and dropped the slide, I heard a blood-curdling scream. I looked up in time to see two zombies, one a young girl of about 15, the other a big hillbilly in bloody coveralls, drag Henderson to the ground. Before I could get off a shot, he was completely covered with zombies. His screams abruptly began to gurgle and cut off entirely. "Henderson's down," I called out. "Changing mags," yelled E2 from the other end of the barricade. "Hold the line," I screamed and returned to my own shooting. "More approaching on our 9, yelled Spec 4. I stole a quick glance to my left and swore at what I saw. Another group, this one much larger than one we were facing, was rapidly approaching. There were probably close to 100 of them, maybe more. They were still a few hundred yards out, and I knew we only had a couple minutes before we'd be completely overran.
Mate,
How's
wow.
that?
Mate, no. I want you to keep going. That's how good it is. But I'm not going to wreck it for anyone else. Oh, mate, that is brilliant. That's what I mean. That's what I'm quite excited about this book and the bits that I've read. It gives a totally different perspective, and the detail that you've gone into, the emotion with the people involved with. You know what I mean? It's like you can tell you've had the experience, as in with the army, with the corrections officer. You know, that really comes out, if you know what I mean, because you understand that side of it. So, and you know the weaponry as well. So that's where it gives it that very sort of, you had me hanging, if you know what I mean. Well done. That was absolutely. Oh, look, mate, I can't wait to get the proper copy so I can read the whole thing. It's very exciting, to say the least. So, look, Doug, what we were talked about the fact that you sat down with your work colleagues and said, what if something, how would we deal with it? How long did it take for you to sit down and draft this book?
Well, I'm a full-time corrections officer, so I don't get to write as much as I would like. Mm-hmm. But I started fleshing out the book, writing out details, and putting ideas on paper in December of 2010. And by December 2011, I pretty much had the book done and began the long, arduous process of editing, which turned out to be a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it took a few months to find a publisher willing to take a chance on a first-time author. So it all told, it took me about a year to write it and about half a year to market it.
No, well, you've done extremely well for yourself. But from what a little bird told me, you're actually looking at a part 2, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm about half done.
So can you give us base?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please. Go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
I've got about 250 pages written into book 2. And
that one's going to be called The Reckoning, is that correct?
Yes.
So book 1 is basically the Awakening, which is, that's it. Mm-hmm. Book 2 is The Reckoning. Now, on your website also, and this is what I quite like about it, you not only are you just pushing the book, but I really find it funny that you got different blogs in, like Zombies in the News, artwork, fan appreciation. You've got all this other stuff in your website, which is really cool. Like, I just got in there before and I had to look. You had this tree house, which was basically designed to be zombie proof, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. You know what I mean? I know this sounds odd, but there are people out in there, this world, who think the zombie apocalypse is going to happen, and they actually got the coin to do something about it. So it's, yeah, I mean, well done. Do you want to give people a bit of a rundown on the website so they know where to go to check this out? Now, can they buy the book from your website?
Yeah, there are links on the website that'll take you to Amazon.com directly to the purchase.
Actually, so you want to give, what's your website, mate? What can we, you want to give the people your website details so we can get the people across?
The website is ragnarokrising.weebly.com. And I have a sample chapter of the book on there. Mm-hmm. I have details about book 2. There's news relevant to the book. Anytime I'm featured, like on an interview, like such as your show, I post that.
Awesome.
I'll be posting your show on there too.
Sweet.
I do a bit I call Zombie Gear of the Week.
Yep.
And if you look beneath it, there's previous weeks, other stuff in there. One week I featured a friend of mine who is a microbrewer. He makes beer in his garage, and he makes some really good beers. And my point was, if what's the point in surviving the zombie apocalypse if you can't have a beer?
I see there's got this lady in a skirt wearing a thing with beer holders in it. That's awesome. I hope that's a lady. Was that a pair of pants?
Yeah, that's actually a kilt.
I was going to say, I thought, bugger.
Made by utilakilts.com.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I should know what a kilt is. I'm just used to the plaid ones, the Irish background in us. There's also the Zombie Slayer Jeep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's made by a company here in Florida. They take a baseline Jeep and modify it, and it looks pretty neat.
It does.
I found it online and thought, wow, that'd be a good bit for the website.
It's a zombie-proof Jeep. Seriously, you got to check these websites out, folks, out there, because this is just amazing stuff. Knives, sword, hatchets, and I like the. Is that a children's stroller with a shotgun and some semi-automatic rifle attached to it?
Yeah, I stumbled across that picture and it made me laugh.
Oh,
I call it the bug-out buggy.
Yeah, the bug-out buggy. I'm just looking at it now, and the trucker's friend is this whopper big. Oh, mate, you seriously, that's what I mean. If people want to go to Ragnarok Rising, which is RAGNAROKRISING, one word, .webley, WEEBLEY.com, and you will find Doug's website. It is absolutely amazing. There's so much stuff on there. You go into all other details. It is like so much. My God. I've never seen a web. You go into zombie apocalypse gear, zombie apocalypse. Now, just on zombies, because we've talked about your book for the first half of the show tonight, and look, we're going to have an ad-free show tonight because look, we are ringing all the way across the oceans to America right now. And like I said, I got Paul dug up at 5 o'clock in the morning when I rang him, and I was like an hour too early. Doug, your viewpoint. What's your view on the zombies in general? Because the book's about zombies.
I think you'd find as diverse a type of zombie as you would among people. I mean, there's no one set pattern of people. People are very different. Yeah, so I believe you'd find different types of zombies as well, exhibiting characteristics of what they were in life. I never really got into like Resident Evil, where the zombies suddenly have superpowers. And I didn't think that was realistic at all.
No, it's good entertainment value. That's about it.
Yeah, I thought if I wanted to portray zombies, I was going to try to portray them as realistically as I could, and I think I did that. I think I covered basic fitness levels and conditions that would differentiate these 5 types of zombies.
I think the most freaky zombie for me is the kid zombies. I remember I watched oh God, what's that zombie movie called? It's quite amusing. It's not total scary. I mean, Shaun of the Dead was a fantastic zombie movie. I love that movie. You just can't go past Shaun of the Dead. We're going to talk a bit about zombie movies because we're both avid zombie fans. But you've also got that other movie. It's The
Walking Dead.
No, yeah. Well, The Walking Dead, the TV series, is brilliant. Just quickly on that, did you find The Walking Dead? Did you find the second season a little bit slow? Like the first season was like really good, and it seemed to peter out a bit, and the second season was a little bit sort of repeating itself at all.
I liked the second season, but I think they spent too much time looking for the little girl. I think they should have resolved that storyline one way or the other much sooner, because realistically, you're not going to find too many 11, 12-year-old kids that can survive for a week out in the woods by themselves.
No. No, you wouldn't, would you?
It's going to end tragically unless they find them probably within the first 72 hours.
No, I've just remembered what that zombie movie, it was Zombieland.
Oh, yeah, Zombieland.
Yeah, I really.
That was actually pretty funny too.
Yeah, I really actually enjoyed Zombie. But so you got movies like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, The Virgin Among the Living Dead. I mean, there has literally been hundreds and hundreds of zombie movies made, and a lot of them we'll never see. You know, like just I think one of the first ones was called just The Dead One, which was done in 1961. Like The Dead Next Door was in 1988. So you've got all these sort of really what do you call it, B class or D class movies over in the States that are.
Yeah, they usually call them B movies.
B movies like Gangs of the Dead. I mean, that was just shot in 2009. So you've got all these. Oh God, it just keeps going. You know, there are some really graphic ones as well out there. But I remember one of the zombie movies that I really actually enjoyed, which took me by surprise, was Fido with Billy Connolly in it. Did you ever see that one? It was a Canadian-made one. FIDO.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, look, if you get a chance...
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, if you want to see, look, it's absolutely brilliant movie. It's Canadian-based, and it has a comedian, the Scottish comedian, Billy Connolly in it. It is literally based on it's based in the early 50s, I guess, you know, with a boy and his pet dog, but his pet dog is actually Billy Connolly as a zombie. It's quietest I've ever heard him in a movie. He just sits there and grunts a lot and eats people. Really, really well done. You've also got Astro Zombies and all. What out of all the zombie movies that you've gone in and seen, and a lot of it would have been around that genre, because to write a book on zombies, you must have appreciation for it. You know, I guess you would have seen a lot of movies to get ideas from and stuff. Out of all the zombie movies you've seen, which would have to be your most enjoyable?
Well, I grew up watching the George Romero movies.
Oh, good. You can't go past George Romero.
Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Some of those were really good. Some of them were kind of cheesy. But I would say what really cemented this book for me was the remake of Dawn of the Dead when they remade it in mid 2000s. When the first time I ever saw zombies being fast was in that movie.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was 9 years old again, going, "Oh my God, zombies aren't supposed to be fast," but you know they were, and it really ratcheted up. It made them scary again. I mean,
I
think that's what did it for me.
I mean, the George Romano so God, I got stutter and a half movies. They did it for me. Black and white. I was, 10, 11. You know, and I don't think I slept for 2 weeks. Slow moving, and they just had that thing about it. But when Shaun of the Dead came out, and it was gross but hilariously funny at the same time, if you know what I mean. So there has been a lot of different movies around those lines. So with the book and everything, we'll just get back on that quickly, Doug. So your inspiration really was, you sit around with your mates going, what if the zombie apocalypse actually happened? How are we going to sort this situation out? That's pretty cool, you know. That's not like, oh, how would I survive? It's like, what are we going to do about it type thing. Yeah.
And one of the things I think really makes it stand out is they learned pretty quickly that the zombies aren't their only problem. They have as much danger from the other survivors as they do the zombies.
Yeah, it'd be everyone for their own, isn't it? It's like,
exactly.
Don't trust anybody type thing, you know, because that's what the thing is, you know, if we talk about the zombie apocalypse, as it were, we go into that whole genre at the moment, if you look at the movies and stuff like that, you only get small pockets of people at the end of the day, don't you? You get ones who you wouldn't think would stick together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get the people who are from totally different backgrounds, religious bases, and all that goes out the window, doesn't it?
Exactly. You know, like Rick said in The Walking Dead, when he was explaining to Merle on the roof, he said there's no black and white, there's only dark meat and white meat now. And you know, the zombies would be the great equalizer.
Well, that's right. There is no It doesn't matter what you are. Yeah, they're not going to pick or choose, man. You're just a bit of fodder at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So your zombies, are they the brain-eating zombies or are they the flesh-eating zombies, or a bit of both? That's
They're
a hard
flesh
question.
eaters.
They're definitely the flesh eaters, eh? They don't just go for the brains.
Exactly. I always wondered why they singled out the brain specifically.
I think that was to do with, what was that movie? Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, where they got the one on the table that had answered and said the brains make the pain go away.
That's right. Yeah, the one that Sheila that's just had the spinal cord just flopping up and down. Yeah, that was freaky as, eh? That scared the absolute crap out of me. Because they ate the brains. I mean, we're talking about, I think I was about 10 at the time, and I'm going, oh crap, what am I watching this for? Oh, it really pulled the willies up me, I can tell you that much right now. But everyone has a passion. It's funny, you know, we were talking about the news, and we're going to talk more about the book in a minute, but this is great having someone on the show tonight. We're actually talking about different aspects of zombies, and before we got on tonight's show, we actually had a bit of a discussion, you know what do you want to talk about and stuff like that. A bit of discussion, you know, you've seen obviously in the news and that where these people are like sucking down on bath salts and stuff like that and then chewing other people's faces off. And that's a terrible thing to say, and I don't think that's happened in the States. They're not really classified as zombies, though, those people, are they? They're just messed up mentally for them to go and attack people. Have you had that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, did you find that, being a corrections officer in that sense, I don't want you to go into detail at all because that's not the right thing to do, but that whole thing of, you know, you would have come across some absolute Fruit Loops when it comes to the people you have to deal with that may have been done with cannibalism and all this other stuff.
Yeah, when you start dealing with people that have been on this bath salt stuff, you're really dealing with a completely unpredictable person. They can go from being absolutely calm to being raving and beating on a window in seconds, and it's a horrible thing that people are ingesting this stuff. You know, they're not a zombie in the
traditional sense.
The traditional sense, but they've done so much damage to their brain that they're really kind of on that level. And some of these.
Sorry, Doug. Have you come across anyone that's been on these bath salts and that you've had to deal with? Yeah,
we've dealt with a few.
Really? Oh well.
Springfield's about 150,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly decent sized town. We have most of the problems of a major city, and we see a lot of these drug cases come in, and it's heartbreaking. It really is.
And you find it's many different age groups.
Yeah, it's all across the spectrum.
So it's starting really, like, we all know about the old dope and, you know, the old weed and, you know, and the crack cocaine and all the rest of the stuff, nasty stuff's out there. But it's surprising what people will actually experiment on. And I've never heard of it before until I was reading about this bloke who reckons that he was on bath salts, of all things. And I'm not recommending anybody get on bath salts. Please don't get me wrong. It's not something I'd even consider trying because it will mess you up beyond all. You'll do stuff that you'll get killed for it in a nutshell, because they ended up shooting this guy, didn't they? Just chewing on this homeless fella.
The guy in Florida, they ultimately had to shoot.
Yeah, just they couldn't restrain him, could they? Because he just was that wild.
Yeah, he had really gone feral. I mean, it had done so much damage to his brain. There wasn't much human left.
It's just hard to comprehend, isn't it? And so a lot of the news reports and stuff like this picked it up as being zombie stuff. You know what I mean? Oh, zombies out, yada, zombie this, zombie that. Do you reckon the old zombies have had a... Look at me, I run a show called Naked Zombie Radio, of all things. Do you reckon zombies have come more into the limelight in the last few years? Or reckon it's just been a slow progression to where it is today? But we're good going back in the 60s when, like, the first movies were produced and all the rest of it, and then you've got this big mass culture of zombie apocalypse and all this other stuff. I mean, they're producing movies left, right and centre now to do with zombies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's become a mass culture, or? There's something that's always been there.
I think it's become a big part of our culture now. There's always going to be that wonder. I mean, people always for centuries have wondered if the dead would return. Thus, we've got all these zombie legends, these vampire legends, the mummies.
Mm-hmm.
People have always been fascinated with the idea of the dead coming back and preying on the living. So I think that's always going to be some very primitive part of our brain that's always going to be afraid of that. And I think the zombies really fit right into that.
I mean, and that's the thing, yeah, the zombies are just cool. I don't know, yeah, well, to me they're cool, you know, you run around, you got no emotion, you got no ties to anybody or anything, and you just get to chew on people all day. Well, what a life's that, eh? You don't die, you're already dead. You know, eventually I guess you decompose and all the rest of it, but still, it's sort of like even when you're just like a head, you still got something reanimated in there. So, I mean, zombies in general just have got a massive cult following. They really do, and it's just such an interesting subject. You know, people, like you're right, Doug, people have always said, you know, what if? What if this does actually happen, whether it's a chemical leak or whether it's, you know, like some sort of astral space stuff that comes down and reanimates dead tissue, or it's an experiment that's gone wrong, like in the Umbrella Corporation and all the rest of it. It's pretty mind-blowing, isn't it, when you think of it? You never know what's around the corner. It's a terrible thing to say. It scares me senseless, to be honest with you. So, Doug, a bit more about the book, mate, and this is the main reason why. Look, mate, we've got about 15 minutes left to go on the show tonight. It's been such an entertaining talk. It really has, mate. What else can you tell us about the second part of the book? Now, I know you can't give too much away for obvious reasons, because, you know, we want people to go, well, I want to read this book and read it. Can you give us a little breakdown of it for us, to give us what we're going to expect? So is it a carry on to the next book, or is it a totally different book, so to speak?
Oh, it picks up right where the first one leaves off.
Excellent.
It's the same group of characters, well, the ones that survive.
Yeah.
The initial part of the book, without giving too much away, is about the return, how they get back.
Yeah.
And then when they get back, there's a whole new set of problems. The dynamics have changed, and they start discovering that they may not be able to hold where they're at. They're going to have to find another place, and they've got to find where it's going to be defensible for a large group of people, and things like that. It's more about change, realizing that the little bit of life they've managed to preserve can't continue where they're at. They can't do it, and I'm stumbling because I don't want to give away too many.
No. You've done really well, mate. And I tend to put people on the spot from time to time, so don't feel bad about it. So, so basically in a nutshell, because I know with a lot of other books, the zombies don't evolve. If you know what I mean, there's certain. Yeah, I think I saw one movie where the zombies actually learn to do different things. You know what I mean? Instead of just walking around looking at, you know, they. So in your book, did the zombies actually start to? You got main characters of zombies in there, like there's a certain, say I Am Legend, right? Take that for example. We know the movie where Will Smith plays this doctor, and there's one particular thing in the hive or person in the hive that is quite smart, if you know what I mean, and they have a thing happening. Is that the same scenario in a lot of those cases where a lot of your characters, even the dead ones, sort of start to evolve in a way?
The zombies really don't, but I do introduce a sixth type of zombie in book 2, one he hadn't previously seen, and he discovers it out in the woods. And he's a little surprised. I don't introduce zombie animals because I never really liked that.
No.
I I always wanted to keep it strictly with humans. But the sixth type of zombie kind of surprises them. I don't want to ruin.
No. It was sort of hanging out to read the first one, waiting for the second one to come out. If you know what I mean, it's sort of going, oh, this is too cool for school. It seemed like, but zombie children scare the crap out of me. Sorry, it's Resident Evil, I think it was, and I think it was the first movie, wasn't it, where that Sheila walks into this classroom and all these kids are chewing on her teacher. Something like that, and then she gets eaten by these school kids. I mean, that's just like rough. Oh, goodness me, zombies, aren't they awesome? Hey?
Zombie kids bother me on more than one level.
Yeah.
I find them frightening, but as a father, the thought of having to put a kid down.
Yeah.
At the same time, you really don't want to hurt them, but in the back of your brain, they're already dead.
Well, that's right. It's like in The Walking Dead, isn't it, where he has to shoot that little girl, right between the eyes, type thing. I probably found that pretty. Being a father myself of two boys, I did find that a little bit confronting. I mean, it's I guess in some ways, in my viewpoint, if you see a bunch of zombie kids chewing on someone, so be it. They're zombies, but you sort of got that they're still sort of alive, if you know what I mean, in that sense. But when he shot that little girl, I just went, oh god, that to me that was a bit confronting. In that sense, I guess you can't really call a spade a spade. I mean, it's the same scenario, but all the rest of it. Mate, now, just for the Naked Zombie listeners out, look, don't forget, we are talking to Doug Roberts tonight. He is the author of Ragnarok. Oh God, you had to pick such a Ragnarok Rising. I'm so sorry, Doug. Oh, look, it's I should have hyphenated it for myself to make it easy. Check out his book if you actually go to the website, which is www.ragnarokrising.weebly.com. You will find the website. You will find the links to this book. Now, how much is the book actually going for, mate, on Amazon and that?
Well, the Kindle download, the electronic format is $4.99.
Cheap, so.
The paperbook is that's in U.S. dollars. The paperbook is in trade paper format, so it's much bigger than a regular novel, and it's $24.99.
Yep, and I'm definitely getting a copy because I am so keen to sit down and read this book in full. From the bits and pieces I have read, it's very unique, if you know what I mean. And I love a good zombie story. And so, Naked Zombie listeners out there, guys who listen and tune into the show all the time from around the world, please take the time, check out this book. It is going to be a rock star book in my eyes, and it needs to be read. It needs to be put out there. So if you get your friends on board, get them to check it out, get them to have a look at it, because look, I'm not getting out of this plug, but I think this book is going to be an absolute winner. From what I have read of it, the small segment is like I just want to read more and more and more. So I'm really excited about getting my copy when it shows up. Doug, right, mate, we're just about coming up close for the interview tonight. But before we do, and thank you so much again for waking up so early on the other side of the planet and speaking to, and so the Naked Zombie Army out there can actually listen to you and hear what you have to say about your book. Is there anything that you want to bring forward to this evening that you want to tell us about?
Well, I think one of the unique things about the way I'm doing this is I've got a feedback spot set up on the website where I'm thrilled when I'm contacted by fans. If they've got a concern or a complaint, I'd be glad to discuss zombies with them at length. I mean, I totally enjoy it. But the feedback I've gotten from so many people has helped really to shape book 2.
Yeah.
And it's really opened my eyes to, other people would say, well, why didn't this happen, or why didn't this happen? And it's really changed it, and it's opened my perspective somewhat. And I think the fans have had a big impact on the way this has turned out, and will continue to do so.
Now, can people get a signed copy of your book from you at all?
Absolutely.
If they contact you personally, you would send them a signed copy of the book?
Yeah.
Because honestly, I think this book's going to be, to me, it's going to be movie material. If you know what I mean. If I'd be very surprised if it's not picked up by somebody who wants to make a movie out of this, because it's different.
I would love to see it made into a movie. It would make me very happy.
Oh, mate, tell me about it. Look, this is the thing. It's interesting title. I even have trouble pronouncing it, but that's just me. Anyone else on the planet can spit it out in a heartbeat, except for good old Brad here, old Muppet here, who can't even spell his own name half the time. So, so if people wanted actually a copy, they can contact directly. They can buy the book from you. You can sign it for them and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if they buy it in electronic format, you can go to KindleAutograph.com and download an autograph for the electronic version.
Look, absolutely brilliant. Mate, listen, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to come on The Naked Zombie tonight. Doug, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, mate. It really has, and I'm so glad you got in contact with me and gave me the details. And that's what it's all about. It's all about, if there's anyone else out there who's an author or an artist or someone in the paranormal pop culture, because we deal with every spectrum. We don't just deal with paranormal. We don't just deal with, we deal with everything within this sort of whole genre. Anyone else out there wants to get in contact with us, they can. We'd love to talk to you and that. But Doug, in closing, mate, I am so stoked, and I'm so excited that I'm going to get a copy of this book. I'm going to read it, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to give it, a great review on it, mate, because what I've read of it is just, I only got a sample and I'm pissed. I want more. That's what I mean. So I'm actually buying a book myself because I want one of these books, and you got to sign it for me, okay? That's the deal. So I can get a copy and show it off. All right, Doug. Listen, mate, I can't thank you enough for coming on The Naked Zombie.
Pleasure.
Oh, mate, it's been mine. Okay, look, Doug, I'll just get you hold on the line there for a couple of minutes. We'll just go through bits and pieces. Okay, look, folks, please take the time, go and check out, go to ragnarokrising.wibbly.com. That's Ragnarok Rising. I think I got that right for a change.
Yeah, you awesome.
Did. Oh, I deserve a big smiley face. Ragnarok Rising, the saga. You've got The Awakening, which is the first book. Second book, The Reckoning, will be coming out. When's that coming out, mate? When you estimate?
I'm hoping to have it. I'm hoping to have it out by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, so we'll keep an eye on that, and sure you'll contact me when the second book is out, and so we can do the same thing again. Take the time, go to the website, check it out, go to Amazon Kindle, have a look at this book, buy it on Kindle form or buy the paperback, because if you love zombies as much as I do, you know this seriously, this book is going to be an absolute winner. I'm very excited about it. So, Doug, I'll just get you to stay on the line. Listen, and thank you to everyone who tunes in each week to the Naked Zombie Radio. Don't forget you'll find us on Facebook and Twitter, and you can contact me on the Naked Zombie website. You probably listen to it now. You can contact Brad at brad-scott.com if you want to send me any information or details or anything like that. Even some feedback. Let us know what you think. And saying that, tonight's show has been an absolute winner. Thank you again, Doug, for waking up so early. Like I say each week on the show, have a good night, have a safe night, and if you're out investigating, watch out for the zombies. I'm Brad Scott, and you have been listening to The Naked Zombie.